From January 1st, 2000 to yesterday, we're taking a look back at the films from the 2000s and something.
2000 party over ropes out of time.
What's up? What's up? We used to party like it was 1999, but now it's
2000.
in the year 2000
And something. This is a brand new segment where we are reviewing films that came out, you guessed it, from the year 2000 until recently.
The day of the dog is coming.
On this episode, the very first episode of 2000 and something, we are covering Tommy Swerdlow's
1,000 Junkies.
So, this is what 1,000 Junkies is about. Tommy, TJ, and Blake are just trying to get well, but fucking Jimmy keeps fucking around. There's nothing worse than a flaky drug dealer when you're trying to get off. 1,000 Junkies is a day in the life of three addicts on a wild goose chase, and the goose is heroin.
Driven and compelled by otherworldly force of addiction, Tommy, TJ, and Blake find themselves in one ridiculous situation after another, and you, as the viewer, get to experience every high and low of their roller coaster of pursuits.
From a comfortable distance, of course, where you can safely chuckle at the shenanigans that are usually as hilarious as they are heartbreaking.
1,000 Junkies is one hell angels of a ride. It's a hit.
TJ's on the phone with Jimmy. Jimmy, I didn't say we had the money. I said we didn't have the money.
Jimmy, I didn't say we had money. I said we didn't have money.
Something about the delivery of that just cracked me up. That was the line in the trailer. It said, I've got to see this because these characters seem great.
I guess I'll start with the TJ line too. This baby needs to be born in America.
And I'm telling you this as a friend, not as a customer.
Oh, yeah. I did have a note about that somewhere. It's just so funny to me. Like they captured the essence of being an addict so well, where when your main priority is just trying to get drugs, they like all of a sudden he's a fucking doctor. Like,
No, he's not a doctor, but his sister's a nurse.
Yeah, but he's an expert now on these things. But at the end of the day, he doesn't give a shit about any of this. He's saying whatever needs to be said to get him in a position where they can get the drugs.
I'm really sick. You didn't even push the car. Watching you guys push that car made me sick.
Yeah.
Watching you guys push that car made me sick.
You know who he really reminded me of? If you took comedian John Mulaney and crashed him into Ferris Bueller.
You do realize I'm going to have to hit him with this. It's okay. He should have answered the phone.
You do realize I might have to hit him with this.
It's okay. You should have answered the phone.
Blake says, everyone should kill someone before they dies. TJ goes, what about the person you're killing? Blake says, what about them?
Well, what if you kill them before they have the chance to know what it feels like to kill someone?
When the car just cuts off on the highway, the sound design there was everything.
It cuts off because you hear the engine like,
Listen to that. The engine, it's fine. It's not fine, Tommy. It's fine. It's fine. Oh, fuck.
I laughed out loud when they started code like, fuck. And then he goes, dude, it's a fucking Volvo. It's the safest car in the world.
Dude, it's a fucking Volvo, okay? It's the safest car in the world.
You don't even have any tools, dude. What kind of man doesn't have tools?
The crazy part about it, when the car dies, I don't know if it was done on purpose, but if it was, it's brilliant. Right. You don't know whether the car is being pushed or whether it's still dying until you see them pushing it and he's in it. Call him, man. Call him. I'm not calling him. Call him. Who? Lone Star. I heard that joke for 30 to 45 minutes and did not know what the fuck they was talking about. When Bill Pulliam showed up in this, who actually played Lone Star in Spaceballs, I lost my shit.
That's one of my favorite scenes I have here. The Bill Pullman scene. I liked how it was kind of meta, how it opened up when he walks up to Bill Pullman. He's like, "What are you doing?"
independent movie, friend of mine, you know, everybody's working for nothing. So it's, buddy story.
It's like he's explaining exactly what he's doing in that moment with Tommy Swerdlow. I thought that was cool, but
Definitely.
you know, the hard no. It's a hard. He played that so well. Like I felt like that was coming from a real play. I mean, the whole movie is obviously.
Yeah, you remember that time back and said it's a hard no.
He's like, let me at least get. He went from 20 to 40, back like down to 20.
The fucked up part about it is that Swirlo understood what the hard no meant.
It's the hard no. Remember?
Oh yeah,
because it was no longer just no.
Yeah, they have been.
It's a hard no.
And you've done this for me. I gave you that car.
I've known you for 30 years, man. I gave you my Dodge Dart, man.
Yeah, that car cost me money.
Yeah, that was no gift, really, Tommy. Remember, it had $2,000 worth of fines on it.
Like, it's funny you say that. Yeah, it's almost like they knew each other. That was crazy. Go ahead, you.
Yeah, that was a good pull.
I see what you did there. I see what you did there.
Good pull, man.
Thanks.
I really like that the montage scene with the Tommy Swerdlow's voiceover. He's like adding up all the time that he spent waiting to get drugs, and it kind of reminded me of the montage scene in Trainspotting, but this was better because Trainspotting was more like it was more stylistic and just it was more for like oomph, but this was like more literally calculated. And like I think about that, like when you're doing drugs, it's not just the drugs you're doing, but it's everything you do in pursuit of the drugs. And we all have those moments where we kind of feel bad and we get introspective and we start thinking about like adding up the money or adding up the time, you know, those guilty moments before like I need to make some changes, this blah blah blah. Like that was conveyed so well in that voiceover that he did and adding up all the time. That was such a really cool scene.
Almost 3 years of my life waiting to get well.
I know it's a very short scene. I'm used to corny guys. I'm back on Igor now. I'm used to corny guys coming out when you first meet a character and then but doing some shit like that. I've seen that. That's not a black person thing. I'm just throwing that out there. I'm not being racist. I'm just saying it's not a black person thing. I'm all
Jesus vibes. Nobody fucks with.
No, he came out. He was like,
yeah.
He did 3 gunshots. This was one of the most fucked up parts of the movie. That's when like one of your friends may say to you, man, that's some crackhead shit. That's some junkie shit. He was like, it's not in there.
I found it 2 weeks ago and I did it. I'm so sorry.
I did it 2 weeks ago. But after you watch them dismantle the car, not only dismantle the car, you sat in one of the seats that they took out.
No, you see, but he actually did them a favor because did you see the way that's what I was talking about, the roller coaster of highs and lows, because really when it comes to being an addict, getting the pursuit of the drugs is almost as addictive as the drugs themselves. And you saw how like happy they got in the moment. That gave them something to do, a little bit of hope for 30, 45 minutes, an hour.
2 of them, but not 3 of them. What was TJ feeling? But why did it take? It's not that it took him so long to say something. You watch the car get dismantled, which is the worst thing you can do. Well, so I thought
what? He was probably hoping that maybe another time they dropped something.
Yeah, you were right about it. I didn't think about that. Like maybe I didn't do it.
Yeah, I mean, maybe there's. I mean, if we dropped it that one time, we dropped it. I mean, you're hoping for anything when you're just trying to get well.
I was going to talk about the scene, but I want you to describe it because I don't believe it was in your notebook, but I believe you want to talk about it. Describe to me the scene when TJ goes to buy the Volvo.
I like the fact that it was all one shot practically. What you want me to describe the scene?
Well, I mean, take us from your perspective. Like that scene was super fucking funny to me for so many fucking reasons. Do you remember what scene I'm talking about?
Yeah, where Blake is pretty much going like, fuck that, man.
Yeah, no, the timing chain. My dad and the other dude was like, my brother worked like for this fucking and NASA for this, like he built one of these.
They just let that play out more and more.
But dude, that close-up shot when he like, motherfucker, I'll cut you to your ass to your appetite.
And I will cut you from your asshole to your appetite.
All right, easy, fellas.
Juvenile reference connection. But that shit was like, and you saw his legs like he was really finna cut his motherfucker.
Yeah, the little exchanges in it reminds me so much of like Office Space.
When he said, man, this car's fucked up. He's like, I just told him the car was fucked up.
Yeah. It's just like those little micro moments like that, the little flashbacks that they do. Because most of the movie, it's Tommy, TJ, and Blake.
Right.
And then every
But when they
once
do
in
the
a while,
flashback, it's just
they
them
have
two.
Yeah, but everybody else probably has a maximum of 3 to 5 minutes of screen time besides them, which is crazy. But what's really cool about the writing and the directing and how they crafted the story is that even though you're meeting somebody like the guy that's selling the car, you only meet him for a few minutes. You don't know anything about his backstory or anything, but you feel like, because the characters are so poignant, like based on people that you feel like you've met before, you see this guy in this like 3-minute exchange and you feel like you know so much about what kind of person that character is. And that's like a testament to the writing and I mean, of course, Tommy Swerdlow is an established writer. His interview is coming up later this month. He's a established writer, so he knows his way around the script. This was his first time directing, though, which is just crazy the way he was able to put this together and do. Like I said, it gave me the vibes of like really, really great filmmakers that we love, like Coen Brothers, Mike Judge with Office Space. The way their ability to craft characters in such a short amount of time that feel so like they live on so easily because they're just so real.
I concur with everything you just said. One of the scenes that really got me, and it's like if you watch this film, there's no LOL moments. There's moments where you're like, ha ha, but it's from a place of darkness, which I truly love. But one of the moments in the film that really got me, there's a couple of flashbacks in the film, but when they show TJ meeting Tommy, and with him pushing the mop bucket and him like comforting him like man, I'm 30 days sober. He was like, I'm going on 6 months or 30 days, and then he was like. He tells him, he was like, when I get out, I'm going to do this, do that. He was like, you're going to get a sponsor? He's like, no, I'm not going to get a sponsor, but I'm still going to go to meetings, this, that, and the other. Because like, he doesn't know what the next day holds. And the crazy part about it, you meet them after they all are out of rehab for the most part, and they're all on it. And so I harpen back to that scene to say that you really saw those characters more vulnerable. Like that the version of TJ we saw at that moment is the version that his girlfriend wanted him to be. Helping somebody out and doing those things. And the version of Tommy that we see is this person that like feels like at his worst, he can't do it. But the person's like, bro, it just shows you like, just because somebody calls you a junkie doesn't mean that people can't help you. Like he was still trying to help him.
Yeah. Yeah, I really liked how they went back and showed what they were like when they weren't afflicted by like constantly. It was really cool to see TJ not being like his sole reason for getting through the day is getting high and doing whatever he can, like that manipulative type of person that he's become. It was a testament to his performance, showing like, because I already thought he was great, but then when you went back and you saw this other dimension to him, that was incredible. And even like Tommy's performance in that scene was great too, because like the desperation, they sold the desperation so well, from like wanting to get better, and then on the flip side, in the present day, the desperation for trying to just get high. What did
TJ tell him?
You could tell they had experience.
And this is how you know I love movies. I know we love movies, but you know I watch when I say I'm going to watch. The motherfucker said, TJ says, you don't have any water in your bucket. Right when I'm getting ready to laugh, and he's like, I don't even have on shoes. Tommy said, dude,
that's the way it's like when you're coming down from something that you really have a dependency on. It's like,
you don't even have any water in here.
Yeah, I have water in there. I have to fucking mop. I don't even have my shoes on, bro.
Come on, dude.
The last scene that I wrote down was one of my favorites. Was one of the last scenes in the movie when they're planning to rob Mosh.
No, I wrote this down. I wrote this shit down like 90 times. Hold on, I got it. I wrote this shit down.
Did you write down the pronunciation? I have it.
Moshe.
Yeah,
told you.
It really pumps my now.
I only see this shit one time.
I like that scene when they're out in the car waiting, and you get like I don't know if I have to shit or puke, and that was hilarious and all
scary
weird
at the same time. Yeah,
I think it's a shit.
When they duck down, when what's her name leaves and they're talking, and I really like the direction of those shots in the car where you could barely see them, and then when he peeks up behind the car seat, and you just hear like, "You can do it, you can do it.
Come on, do it. Fuck, do it.
Blake, you can do it. Blake, you got like TJ is an ultimate like he is desperate. That's not like please.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't think he would ever be on those type of drugs. But if I had to put you as a character out of those three, it was him.
But what really got me on that scene is when when Blake gets up to the door and he's about to do it, and then they come pulling around the corner. Now, remember the state that they were in before that, throwing up, about to shit
Dope sick.
themselves.
Yeah.
When they come around that corner, it's like they're brand new babies. Like, hey,
Jimmy's wife had the baby. He called, man. He'll see us. It's a boy. Come on. Come on.
they're like, they are not sick anymore. And that just proves that addiction is mostly mental and not physical, because once they knew, and I've been there before, like when I have weed, it's like, once I secure the weed, it's almost as good as,
because you know it's there.
Weed.
You know
Yes.
it's fun. It's not funny, but you brought up that part, and that's why I say this is really a really good film for two reasons. Me and you talked about this before we even saw it, which was the fact that we knew that no drugs were used or used on screen during the film. It's all about the chase. But what I loved about it is me and you always disagree on endings. But one of the beautiful things is what you just said. The same guy they wound up copping from is the original guy they were supposed to cop from when they walked out the house at 6:30. Yeah. It's the same guy. So it was like, bro, if y'all just would have chilled the fuck out,
just waited,
it would have happened. But also it was there's a third side to that coin, is that it just shows you how sick you can be, that you were more life was being born. Mm-hmm. And you really didn't give a fuck about that. It was still all about scoring. And I want to say this in case we don't get to see it. I want to get into more of the serious side of this and say this is that I feel like it's a travesty that this film is not out there. And the reason why I say that is this should be shown to every former addict at probably 30 days into their stint. Because it's one thing for people to tell you about how you're acting when you're high, like, man, you're real fucked up. But I read the comments on this after I watched it. I was feeling it. I didn't need to read the comments. Watching this film is an intro. If you've never done drugs or done anything like that, it brings you into their world. But it's not about people who haven't done them. If you've done them and you're fighting that, watch this, because everything they do in this is you.
Yeah, that's why it makes it so effective, because most of the time an anti-drug movie is an hour and a half of like fluff, making it feel like a nightmare, or telling you, just explicitly saying, don't do this. But what made this so effective is it's like they don't say any of that. They don't say don't do it. The movie is literally about them trying to do it.
Right.
But they hold up a mirror to you if you're in that position, and it's too authentic to deny when you're looking at it. And you're laughing, but it's like every time you're laughing, it's not like a funny punchline. You're laughing. It's like, it's so funny because it's true.
All right, guys, you know what time it is. It's time to get into that Orlando Bloom Award. What's that mean, Dave?
Orlando Bloom was one of the most famous, and this is indisputable, actors of the 2000s. So the prestigious Orlando Bloom Award is given to our favorite performer of the film that we're reviewing.
I'm going to go right into this so we don't forget this, because we need to talk about this. There were three main characters, but there was one motherfucker. If anybody's ever challenged for, we're no longer doing, best actor, best actress. But if anybody challenged for the best, like winning best actor with less screen time, Gore.
We're going to get the money. We're going to score drugs. This is the best feeling in the world, man.
Oh yeah, that guy was. He reminded me of like a Coen Brothers character that would pop in for like a bit part.
He shows up with the hand from Scary Movie. He has this little limp, and it was like he'll score for you just because he doesn't have friends. And the fucked up part about it, when he called that cab, you didn't see him call the cab on screen or anything like that. He was like, we can go. I don't know. I feel like he doesn't want to go downtown because it's that junkie shit. He probably owes so many people money downtown. He tried to do everything. He was rolling around a certain neighborhood yelling, Chiga!
Yo! Shiva!
Chiga!
Shiva! He had something against. I don't know why he was so adamant on staying in this area where...
It wasn't that he was adamant about staying there. He didn't want to go downtown. And I was thinking it because he owed people money there. Yeah. Just like they owed Moshe. You want to tell the people about Moshe? First off, these characters we are explaining should just make them want to watch the movie alone.
I want you never to come here again. Do you understand? Because I'm fucking through with you!
For me, it was TJ. And I'll explain why. I love what Blake did with his character. Love what Tommy did with his character. But to me, we brought it up earlier. The scene with TJ And Tommy really did it for me. It was that we had gotten 75 to 85% of his character all through the film, and then they hit you with that. Had that been played at the beginning of the movie, I don't know, and I do know it's not as powerful.
Yeah,
because we don't know him. We have no reason to care about him helping someone at that point. We get to see him so far. Now, I will say this. I know we really we do honorable mentions, and sometimes, and I do have to give an honorable mention to Blake Haran. The reason why I say that is because he gave me. I saw one of the best beats I've seen in my entire life. And I mean that
about when he's walking up to Moshe's house,
when they pull up and say everything's good, and that look on.
Yeah.
I think you don't have to be a junkie to feel that.
What made that so powerful was he spent the whole movie talking about, man, we need to do this. It was a Tarantino effect.
Yeah,
we need to do this. Oh man, I'm tired. I think I'm just gonna go to bed.
And then they were like, nah, do it.
It came time to
do it.
He's like, I
do
don't
it.
know. I don't know. Man.
Do it.
I don't know. You think I can? You think? But you could tell he's really not like that. He's not the hard ass. He
kept saying it's a 2-man job. It's a 2-man job.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, the funny thing is though that I thought for sure that he was gonna walk in there and get killed. Like I was.
So did I.
But that was just that beat was, and he was a strong performance throughout the whole thing. But yeah, I agree with you. TJ for me, I think he won. Tommy, you have to give credit to Tommy because all of the words that are being said are his, and of course TJ co-wrote it too. And I think Tommy wrote that character for himself because to be more of just like a foundation for everything to happen around and on. Like he's more so there to respond and react. The scene with Tommy and his daughter was hilarious, and that
wasn't hilarious to me. That was one of the. That's why I almost gave him scene stealer.
Well, it was, but when he saw, just give me the fucking money, like the way but
stop fucking dancing.
That was really his daughter.
But yeah,
you know that?
No, I did not know that.
I mean, same last name I saw on the cast.
But to me, I've never been on hard drugs or anything like that. But let's say I was on hard drugs and I saw that scene or that happened to me, that would be the moment that's rock bottom for me. I'd never do drugs again because your daughter even knows it's better for you not to do. Like you basically begging your daughter to go steal from your mom. Like it's one thing for you to steal, Dad. Like and to me, I know they didn't make that scene up. That actually happened. So to me, I hope like like Samuel Jackson says this. His daughter and his wife at the time, or his girlfriend, I can't remember, found him on a full floor with crack cooking on the stove. I don't know if you've ever heard that story. And when he woke up and saw them and they told him he needed to get help or they'd leave or something like that, he's been sober ever since when it comes to anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, all three of them were awesome in it. And for that matter, all the side characters, supporting characters were fantastic too. But for me, TJ was the one that brought the energy that made me that really captivated me. And seeing like you said, the range going from that addict to who he was before and playing both parts just as effectively. And when I want to read you this because TJ, when I looked him up, I noticed his bio and it's really funny. TJ Bowen is a writer and actor who lives in Los Angeles. He wrote and acted in 1,000 Junkies, which comes out through the Orchard in January 2018. This is the funny part. While researching and preparing for this project, TJ went through 7 rehabs, 14
and was arrested 3 times,
and 1,000 AA meetings, and was arrested 3 times. Yeah.
I do my research too, brother.
That's it. That's so funny. Like, yeah, no, I just spent all that time in the alley of drugs doing research for this film.
And it played. I mean, and that's why.
Oh my God, yeah.
The craziest thing about this film is that no one knows the fuck about it. I can't understand why.
Well, I think that's a good. Well, before we get into fetch or fucked, check out this.
You really came up with that after I came up with cum swap. You think that's cooler?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Check out this excerpt from our interview with Tommy Swerdlow. It's coming up later this month, but here's where we talk about 1,000 Junkies with him.
Roll that beautiful bean footage. Now, 1,000 Junkies was an official selection in the Tribeca Film Fest and won the jury prize at the Alameda International Film Festival.
Like 16 people in Alameda. No, I also wanted
all the reefs.
Film Festival.
All the reefs.
What do you want to know?
Now you co-wrote it with TJ Bowen. You directed and starred in it, and it's based off a short film that you made a few years prior. It's obviously a labor of love, self-produced, and it's a story that's hits very close to home. Could you speak on that, please?
Hold on.
It's also on Amazon Prime for free, so you can watch. Anyone can watch it. Like it's there.
I did not know it was on Prime.
Yeah, we'll be checking it out. In the Reddit AMA that I saw, you said 1,000 Junkies is just like Cool Runnings, except instead of 4 black guys in a bobsled, it's 3 white guys in a Ford Contour looking for drugs in South Central LA.
Who's now in a Volvo station wagon. Yeah, I mean that's a joke. It's sort of like the Little Rascals are strung out and whatever. I mean, it changed my life. You know, the willingness to do it. I got clean. You know, the 2 of my friends who I had been in AA meetings with, one who relapsed and died since. One of the kids in the movie died. Who was a child star, a kid named Blake Heron, who was famous for doing a Disney movie called Shiloh about him and a dog. Sweet kid. He died after the movie, after it came out. It was, you know, we had to take, you know, all these dope movies are all hip, slick, and cool, and it seems wild, and it's whatever. We were like, let's do a workplace comedy about 3 guys with no drugs in it, who just can't get it together, like the Little Rascals are strung out, and how pathetic and ridiculous this life is. And you need to be clean to be able to laugh at yourself on that level. And it's literally has no drugs in it. It's just about us chasing them and chasing money and all the people's lives we mess up. And just it's just a dark comedy, and junkies love it, man. They go fucking crazy. Like there are Reddit strands about. My favorite one is when some guy said Trainspotting's the greatest drug movie ever. I don't care. And this other guy said maybe so, but nothing that happened in that movie ever happened to me, and everything that happened in 1,000 Junkies happened to me. So you know, it's really catching on. Like people, I get letters like on Facebook. People like junkies fucking love it. I mean, everyone likes it. I mean, you know, if you watch it, we didn't get we got some great reviews. The one important review was like, who cares about a bunch of junkies? In the Hollywood Reporter, which was a drag. We got a release from the Orchard. It was okay. You know, we didn't get in theaters, but it would change my life, man. Like, because it just, something about finishing that movie, setting out to do it. You know, it's directing a movie is a motherfucker, man. And with no money and no support, like when they hire you, they'll write you a check to write a movie. It's sort of like your parents going, okay, the teacher, finish your book report. Here's your money, and you're like the kid, but on that one, it was like, it was all on me, you know what I mean? And all on us to make it happen and everything. And it was a life-changing experience because I had just gotten clean in 2011. I had gotten really sick. In 2007, I had gotten something called endocarditis, a heart valve infection. And I had to have open heart surgery and have my pulmonary valve replaced and my aortic put on it. I was in the hospital for 66 days and I got a bleeding ulcer and I was really close to dying, like as close as you can be. So I had come back from I had really fucked it up. You know what I mean? It was like as dark as it gets. And so to take that and make that movie, it was like shadow owning, like owning the bad things that had happened and like sort of alchemy, like turning all that lead of your life into something gold. And for me and TJ, and it was a big deal, and it really, it did something for me, you know what I mean? Brought me back. Yeah. So, and people love it, you know what I mean? And then I got this work, I've been, for 5 years now, I've been writing books. I wrote this other, I wrote a book that goes along. It's sort of a companion piece called Straight Dope. I got this novel out that you can get. That's about everything we just talked about and this imaginary detective case. It's got Shrek in it. It's got this other movie in it. It's got this out-of-work screenwriter who's clean, who gets asked to go find a junkie by this girl he used to date, who she'll give him some money. And it takes him back into all this craziness. And he's trying to pitch Katzenberg and for this new movie. And it's sort of like a mishmash of everything we just talked about. And you can get that too. But cool, but 1,000 Junkies, directing a movie is very interesting. It taught me a lot about screenwriting. Editing a movie taught me a lot about screenwriting. That's its whole separate thing you could talk about. Just, you really get a sense of what matters and what doesn't. You know what I mean? I mean, how much doesn't matter and what does, and where you can start a scene, and You know what I mean? Just how you make things actually work on screen. You know what I mean? As opposed to it's all a blueprint. You know, what you realize about the screenwriting is it's all a blueprint. You know, it's not an art form. It's not a novel. It's a blueprint for someone to put something on a movie screen. And then you'll put something on a movie screen and it doesn't matter what's going on except in that frame that people are looking at, you know, and it all gets boiled down. And then where does it start? When does it end? Like the cutting of a joke, a reaction, you know, you miss 6 frames on a reaction and the joke isn't funny. I mean, it's just like, it's intense, man. You know, I mean, I have a lot of respect. Directing is hardcore. It's major concentration, major generalship. I mean, and you write the movie. So you write the movie when you write it, then you write it when you film it because you decide what the fuck you're filming, and then you write it again when you edit it because you decide what actually gets in the movie. So there's kind of 3 writings of the movie, and it's just I gotta say, like, you know, to get it together to do it again, I'd like to, but it's a serious art form because especially if you write them, you're writing, you're directing, you're using music, you're really kind of forging story in a way that's really, it's high end shit. Like someone like Ingmar Bergman, like to me, like that's just like, he's a king, man. You know, I mean, just to be able to write like that, or Fellini. I mean, these people who create these worlds, you know, there's a lot of great American directors too, and a lot of great directors now. But I got a lot of respect for film directing. I mean, it is no joke in terms of the amount of effort, concentration, dedication, time. You can't fuck it. It ain't for the light of heart, man. Especially no financial support.
I'm sincerely looking forward to, I'm not just saying it, I really am looking forward to watching the movie because, I mean, the trailer itself had me cracking up. Like, there was one particular line, and I'm probably going to butcher it, but the guy's on the phone.
Jimmy, I didn't say we had money. I said we didn't have money.
Like, the play on words with that, and I don't even know why it tickles me, but I can tell from that moment.
TJ, he's incredible on the phone with the dealer. It says to him, where are you? Where are you right this second?
I just love the fact that you say there's no drugs in the movie, and it's like you say, because it's a chase. I'll be watching it this weekend, but it speaks to the chase, and I think that's very creative to write a movie like that with no drugs.
And it's good not to have
drug use is boring. And also, the other really good thing about the movie is it's like an hour and 15 minutes, so you don't have, you know, you get it.
Well, and drug use is triggering too. Like I can't watch, like, I love Pineapple Express, but I can't watch it unless I have weed to smoke with them. Like, even with somebody on the TV, they light a cigarette. It's like, well, God damn it. Now I have to go outside and have a cigarette because I saw it. So it's like, it's really cool to make a movie.
A lot of cigarette smoking in our movie. TJ, those two smoke. I smoke at the end once I'm high. But
I'll have a carton ready. Thank you once again to Tommy Swerdlow for giving us his time and giving us such an amazing movie. Be sure to check out the interview with him premiering later this month. But for right now, let's figure out if 1,000 Junkies is fetch or fucked.
For a film to be funny, hard, it's like the EGOT. Or whatever they call it, the you know, the Grammy, the Oscar, all that other stuff, the Tony, you know, when you win the Emmy and everything. Like, I don't want to film. I don't want you to write unless your brother died from heroin, or you did heroin, or you were an AA counselor or something like that, or a sponsor. Don't write a film about heroin to me. I saw these people put their lives and their heart out there. If we didn't do this show, I wouldn't know who the actor was, and I would have no reason to watch this film. And it's free on Amazon Prime. That's bullshit. Those are my thoughts on this film.
I really like how, like you said, the authenticity was there. Arguably, the thing that makes it so great is the authenticity. And that's also the thing that makes it borderline unwatchable. Something like, but just cringing, like, because they're just playing it so, they're putting it all out there. Like, they are naked, and knowing that they are portraying. I mean, they even use their real names. At one point, Bill Pullman even says Tommy Swerdlow, first and last name. Like, there's no line between it's not blurred. It's just not there between reality and fiction in this movie.
there's another point in the film to where you look at it and say, oh, you only have to be on drugs to accept something like that. There's a guy that, like, it's like me and you knowing somebody, but we're trying to go find some weed, and we go to a station, and then you walk back up to the car, and this guy's like, hey, man, look, can I sit in the front? Like, what the fuck are you? And then you tell me, oh, no, he's going to get us an ounce and give us $100. I'm like, all right, cool. Because in any other situation, like, bitch, I'm not getting in the back. You like dibs on for shot. That's why they call it shotgun. That's the only. They don't call it the driver's seat or the back seat. There's only one. The most important seat in any fucking automobile is shotgun. He gives it up.
They did. Yeah, they did the little details. They got so right. The desperation, the highs and lows when Blake, oh, my grandfather's watch. And now
did you hear that motherfucker say we can meet him on the highway?
Oh yeah,
they were trying to meet this motherfucker. If we call him, he has to slow down.
Yeah, yeah. It's I mean, yeah, they played it so well, and it's done so well that they were able, like, it blows my mind that they were able to make a movie so compelling when really all it is 3 guys in a car going from one place to another, and you feel like so much has happened, and you feel like you've been with them for such a long journey, and really it's just one very long and trying day. And the fact that they're going from one situation to another, it never felt forced. Like they never felt like, and I think that's again a testament to the awesome writing, that they're able to transition from one crazy exchange to another, and it never felt like they were like, oh, we want to get to this place. They took their time with how they got there, like in the story. It never felt like they were like forcing a situation.
ATD, attention to detail. You said it. The one thing I wanted to bring up, think about this. What's like, I guess whatever drug you do, there's a time to it. Like most people who smoke weed, what do most of your drug dealers or people say? I'll be there in 5 minutes. That's the weed thing. Apparently with heroin, which I know nothing about, you're willing to drive around all day looking for this shit from place to place because he can. Again, when he pulled up in that fucking hospital parking lot and the dude jumped in the car, he's still trying. He's like, "It's in your hands. It's in your hands." They didn't touch on that too much, but it's like you're accusing your friends that you're trying to get drugs with and now having a drug. He literally walked out with his hands open. Yeah. He's like, "It's in your hands." Yeah. You're like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
The desperation, man.
We're gonna rob this guy. You're like, "Yeah, we do drugs. We don't rob people." Yeah. So those are my thoughts, dude.
I give this movie a 5 because I don't think I feel compelled to give it the love that it deserves that it's not getting, because I told you before, this movie should be a classic. It has all the ingredients of like a Scorsese classic, like the movies that you look back from like 70s and 80s that are character driven dramas. This movie is the most heartbreaking comedy, and it's the most hilarious drama I've seen simultaneously at the same time.
You know what? If Tears for a Clown had a definition, that would be this film.
Yeah, because it all kind of plays with the pacing of a comedy, but there's the drama is so deep and intense and real. And the fact that you know that the 3 guys that are playing these are really going through.
Oh, one of the scenes we didn't talk about. First of all, I didn't want to mention that the fact that when they leave out at 6:30, you just know they're going to work. Nope. Yeah. But they are. But remember at the beginning of the film, he's like, "Man, I haven't touched this hand since 2009. Look how puffy. I can't even get in there anymore. I found this vein one time on my shoulder. Oh, yeah. Like I didn't have a pen to mark it, so I can't even find it anymore." I'm like, what the fuck?
I feel like that was not makeup department called in for that. No. But on the makeup side, I don't know if it was makeup now at this point with the, like, if you notice throughout the day, their faces looked more sickly. And a part of me is wondering, is like, okay, were they really detoxing during production of this, or is that just really stellar makeup? So I give it a 5. What do you give it? It's a
4.8.
It's fetch.
Oh no, this is there, man. I'd rewatch it. I recommend it. And again, the fact it's a crime. The last thing I'll say about this film, it's a crime. This is not in every clinic, every rehab center. Even people are starting to think about doing it. If you're smoking weed, you should watch this. It'll make you now, because some people call weed a gateway drug. Not for me, but some people call it that. People need to watch this fucking video. When did this come out again?
2018. And let's just say before we go, the rest in peace to Blake Heron, who lost the battle to addiction. And
well, make sure you bleep out that part doing it, because I don't want to spoiler alert them if they haven't seen it. Let's say rest in peace to one of us. That
It
builds
doesn't necessarily spoil anything about the movie. I don't want to go without saying that explicitly.
True, I get it.
So yeah, rest in peace to Blake. That, I mean, if anything, I watched the whole movie with the assumption that I was watching 3 recovered addicts making a movie about addiction, and it was after the fact when I started doing the research for the episode that I saw, the first thing I saw was that Blake had passed away, and that, like, I mean, not weirdly, it just added a whole other weight to the film, knowing that he either backslid or never got completely well. I don't.
To put it the best way I know how to put it, and it's not in the film, but Swerdlow said sent a text to TJ that just said Blake, and that's when he knew that he had died. That's all it said was Blake. Like if you sent me a message that said Tarantino, like who is he angry at, or you know your friends, and so it's just like, man. But
the last thing I want to say, but on as far as the review of the film, you know how I feel about endings. They either make or break the movie.
I said that we agreed that this was a good ending.
Spoil anything, but yeah, the ending of this.
That's how you end it.
It was so crazy. And again, I'm not going to say what happens. I'll just say how it made me feel. The fact that it's oddly in the as far as the character's perspective, it's a happy ending. But for you as the viewer that's been on this journey with them, it's almost like a premonition of the tragedy to come.
Yes, I'll say this without giving away the ending. You saw their relationship when they were looking for it and when they weren't on it. And then you saw a certain relationship when they were.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, it's not worth it. You think you're friends because of this, but that has nothing to do with why y'all are friends. Yeah. That's how I took it.
So go watch it.
Go watch. It's free. Right now, it's free.
And there's actually a version that you could buy if you really want
Shiva. Shiva.
Fucking yeah, it deserves to be a classic. It's an amazing movie. It's a truly an independent film, which should always be supported. And not just that, but it's a really fucking good independent film.
You did it, Swerdlow. Rest in peace, Blake and TJ. You were the scene stealer, brother. Guys, check it out. TTFT.
Peace out.
2000 party overdose out of time. Woo! Cause tonight, party like it's 1999.
Hey guys, hey gals. Did you like that? I know I did. And here's something YouTube thinks you'll like. They've actually recommended. What do you recommend?
I recommend that if you have not subscribed to our channel, that you please click right down there and make sure you correct that wrong this very instant.
Let me ask a question. Where can they find us?
All those places over there, we're everywhere. Everywhere.
We thought we could do a cooler outro. We're just going to walk away now.